Hi, I'm Joanne and I'm going to be showing you how to really enjoy some delicious food using the awesome pan that can, the FlavorStone Diamond edition. Lots of reasons why I love this pan, but one of the things that I absolutely adore about it is the deep sides, because making a curry, you want a frying pan, especially when you're going right from the start, which is such a rewarding experience. I would recommend it to anybody. I'm going to kick off by using my new favorite ingredient, just so we can get that going, and then I'll show you how to do the curry. And that is this. This is called bulgur wheat. So I'm popping in here about 120 grams of bulgur wheat, which is a perfectly reasonable portion. I tend to do, for the bulgur wheat, I tend to say as much as in the pan of bulgur wheat, at least 3 times as much water. And while it's cooking, keep an eye on it. Also, just little top tips if you've never cooked bulgur wheat before, and it goes very nicely with the salmon and goji berry curry that we're going to do together. It is super in the FlavorStone Diamond Edition non-stick pan because it is non-stick, and you know how it is with rice. If you overcook rice, you burn rice. Man, does the stuff stick. Bulgur wheat would be the same, except we're cooking in the pan that can, and well, I've yet to find something that sticks to this, so that's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that to cook. I just want you to see another thing that if you haven't used your FlavorStone yet, you won't know, is just how evenly it cooks, corner to corner, side to side. With it being this square shape, just to remind you, you get an extra 25% cooking space as well. And when it comes to curry, which is what we're going to do in a minute, it very often starts with popping seeds, which is such a lovely thing to do. It makes your whole house smell utterly delicious. It's a really sensory experience. What you sometimes struggle with in an ordinary pan, and I'm not saying it won't happen in your FlavorStone, but it happens a lot less, is you've got these lovely high sides. And that's not just about being able to cook quantity, because I've done in here steaks for you. You can check out all the other recipes that we've put together to help you make the most out of the pan that can, because you can bake in here and take it to the oven. Those deep sides just offer you so much more versatility. It's not just about quantity, it's about versatility. So you can see the bulgur wheat is already cooking away beautifully, steaming. I mean, that's because it heats up so fast. And even when you're cooking thing to thing, it kind of retains the temperature really nicely for you as well. I'm going to leave that to cook. Remember, you start with cold water, bring it to the boil, and then literally let it boil and simmer. I think this is about the level of steam that you want it to cook at for about 20 minutes. And this is another reason why you want not 1 but 2 FlavorStone pans, is I'm going to leave that cooking on the hob, and I'm going to crack on with that gorgeous curry. To start off with, this is the best bit, and very often when I'm cooking with my FlavorStone, the first thing that I always do is I literally show the pan a little bit of oil. And remember, oil here is for flavor, not for function. All right, so because the diamond technology that's patented, I think it's called Tough. This is the super, super tough non-stick coating that they've got on here. It is quite wondrous, and really, I mean, I have forgotten about rice that has tried to weld itself to it but hasn't. Just nothing sticks to it. Cheese, milk's burnt in here, and just nothing sticks to it. The first thing we're going to do is the popping of the seeds. Remember, I said half a teaspoon. I could stand here and measure it out, but I know roughly what half a teaspoon looks like, so I'm just going to go nuts bananas with all these lovely seeds. So lovely. And you know when they're ready for you to start adding the other ingredients or just removing it a little bit from the heat is when they start to pop. So here's the fun bit. Oh, I love this. And they warm up and they start to pop. It's so, look, can you see them popping? Pop. Oh, and you can hear them. So once I've done that, I'm now going to go ahead and add my other little bits and pieces. So you want about a teaspoon of ginger over there. I can't get enough of ginger, so I tend to over-egg the ginger sometimes. You want about a clove of garlic. And then you pop your goji berries in. By the way, at this point, just add about 100 to 200 ml of water. Lovely, lovely. And it starts to bring your curry. I want to just quickly tell you, I would rather cook it out and bring it back. And as you've seen, that happens really quite quickly with this. So when you are cooking your curry, don't be scared if you've overdone the water. Please don't be scared, because you can literally just condense those flavors back. You know, I have done it both ways. I've gently added the water, but then it's become really quite thick and pasty, and I don't want it to be that way. You'll see this. Look. I said you'll see it come to the boil. And you can already see that one of my favorite things about cooking in this FlavorStone pan is it can take anything. It's the pan that can. It can do your curries, it can do your stews, it can do your rice, it can do your bulgur wheat, and it does it all beautifully. Interestingly enough, and this is another thing about me and getting distracted and testing the FlavorStone pan, I was doing pasta in it the one afternoon, and I'm a big advocate for one pan cooking. So my plan had been to cook the pasta, drain the pasta, because you get with this a lovely little basket which you can either use for pasta cooking or for deep frying. Well, I'll tell you the truth, viewers, I got sidetracked and the dog was doing something and then the kid was doing something and I completely forgot about it, and all the water was absorbed. And I thought, well, the pasta is, thank goodness it was in the basket, otherwise it would have been, I thought maybe if it hadn't been a FlavorStone, it would have been welded to the bottom. But the super thing is, nothing stick, nothing burned, and supper was saved. Any other pan, I might have lost not just the pasta, but the pan, not in the pan that can. You've got this lovely cool touch handle, and anything that you need to stir, obviously it's quite nice to be able to have the confidence of a cool touch handle. If you are on a stove or hob situation where, often your handle goes over another heat source, and how many of you have lost pans and pan handles because of that, because it's burned over the other heat source? Of course, this handle you could completely remove, which is very handy when you're putting things into the oven. But it's also really handy if you're cooking with lots of things at the same time. So it literally clips on, locks into position, and to clip it off, you unlock and you squeeze the grey little buttons towards the side. I just thought I'd point that out to you because I very often have got a fully loaded hob. One other little feature I just want to quickly talk about here that I can uniquely talk about when you're dealing with curries, which of course often have cumin or turmeric or those sorts of spices in, paprika, smoked paprika in, is, do you see the color? And I know a lot of you are like, oh no, look at that. She's ruined that pan. That now becomes a curry pan. No flavor transfer, no color transfer. I have literally gone, I know you're going to think this is funny, but I have gone from curry to custard. I have made curry and then served custard with ice cream, and I made my custard with custard powder from scratch in the FlavorStone pan, because this pan really and truly can take it. At this point, what I really want to do now is to turn my heat right down, so it's just a little bit of a bubble. Do you see how this pan responds? Did you see that? How many times you're like, oh, am I on a high heat, am I on a low heat? And it's a complete guessing game. And how many recipes have gone wrong? I think you'll find your confidence cooking with the FlavorStone pan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just gently add in all my salmon. And this part of the process, please don't overcook your salmon. I read recipes all the time where it suggests you're going to be cooking for 5 or 10 minutes. Look at your salmon, feel your salmon. When it's all turned a very pretty light pink, you're done. So at this stage, you should be able to bring your dish together really quite nicely, because your bulgur wheat should be ready. This is bulgur wheat, absolutely perfectly prepared. It's a bit like rice, everybody. I try not to stir it too much, but do keep an eye on it. Now, look over here. Look at how absolutely nothing is sticking to that Dymatec patented non-stick technology. Do you see that there? Absolutely gorgeous. I defy you not to cook with complete confidence. Find your cooking mojo with the pan that can. It's just, this is lovely. I think about this, and I think about how many of you are just going to fall in love with cooking. So just before I finish, so a little bit of coriander is what I'm going to chop up to pop over this. But please trust me when I tell you, pomegranate doesn't just look beautiful. That sort of, pomegranate has got a really interesting flavor. Definitely adds a little something extra to your dish. So there you go. How beautiful does that look?